It's no secret that a lot of people on Earth are not a big fan of the Jews. In my videos, I always try to focus solely on religion and how people connect with God.
Mind control, goy slop.
Okay, so why can't I get involved? You know what I'm saying? Like,
But whether it be based in conspiracies of mass mind control, trafficking rings, or blood libels, I quickly realized when working on this project it would be literally impossible to ignore the allegations faced by this group of people. Instead, I would need to travel deep into the heart of the synagogue and get some answers for myself on what is really going on.
And someone parked his car, got up, and spit.
And hopefully by the end of this video, we can both understand the spiritual wisdom that lies beneath the noise of politics and prejudice here in South Florida.
this book says, Ivdu es Hashem besimcha. Whenever you serve God, you should do it with happiness. That's what you should do. And if there's one takeaway, man, serve God with happiness. Come on, that's what it is, man. He created everything. And you have a chance to talk to him? Be happy when you do it, man. Come on. When it comes to the things that people say that the Jews run the world, they run Hollywood, they run the bank systems. Research the history. When the Jews first came to America post-Holocaust, we weren't allowed to we didn't have the same opportunities. What are some of the earliest opportunities that we had? Tin Pan Alley in the music industry, right? We wrote Christmas songs, we wrote songs for the black community. If you look at the 1950s in Tin Pan Alley, a lot of it was black performers with Jewish writers. Some of the most influential music in history, rock music, was built with both of those parties, mostly the the Jews won't claim a lot of rock music because the black community crushed with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we were all involved. If you look at Hollywood, Paramount Pictures, all of these movie studios were started by Jews who couldn't get normal jobs. The original banking thing, in some of these other countries, money handling was a profession that was looked down upon. Mm-hmm. So of course, give it to the Jews.
Well, even when you look at back in the Roman era, Christians weren't allowed to handle money.
Right. So they gave it to the Jews, and that's where we stood. And now if you look at our culture, that's high in education, we're going to try to teach our children in the best way how to do these professions in the best way, and we stuck with it. From a young age, I was taught how to research things. When you're learning a page of the Talmud, it's not just you're reading one thing and you understand it. It starts with a question, always. There's a classic question that the Rebbe asks, which is, why does the Torah start with the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet? The first letter is Aleph, and the second letter is Bet. And the first word of the Torah is Bereshis, in the beginning. So the Rebbe brings down, he says, why is it that the Torah starts with the second letter? The conclusion that he comes is out of this world and esoteric, which is, it says that this is actually the second creation. And that in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, he put too much of what's called Ein Sof, the infinite light that emanates out of God, into this world. When you learn Zohar, you learn that the infinite light is scattered throughout everything. And the most amazing part is that you, yourself as a human, can bring that light out into other things. When I drink water and I make a blessing on it, I believe that I'm putting, I'm bringing the light out of this one thing. When I learn Torah, I believe that the table that I'm learning on brings the light out, right? So it says that God put too much of his infinite light into the world and it exploded and scattered throughout everything. To me, that sounded like the Big Bang when I learned about it, And then that's why the Torah starts with the second letter. So that's one letter that has this entire commentary on. Now imagine the entire Torah.
Yeah. I love the glass that they have around here. It's so nice.
Yeah, well, actually, this shul was designed based off of 3 shuls in Eastern Europe that got completely destroyed during the World War II. So,
wow.
For example, this thing in the middle where they read the Torah, the bima, that's a replica from a certain shul. The ark in the front, that's also a replica from a certain shul. You know the village Bell Harbor, the gated community?
Sure. Yeah.
Over there, it's pretty crazy, but they had a rule, no Jews, no dogs.
Yeah.
So Rabbi Lipsker and his wife, they were the first ones to buy a house there. And like when they found out that they were Jewish, there was some, upheaval. But now
I saw a photo of the sign.
Oh,
I remember.
yeah?
Yeah,
Really?
I've seen that photo.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
but now, this place is...
Now the place has become very dog friendly.
Yeah, very dog friendly, 100%.
Here or here, probably here is better. I'd say it's nicer.
Oh yeah.
All the books.
Spicy Doritos.
Yeah. And what's funny is a lot of people look at like somebody like me and they automatically think, oh, Rabbi, like how are you?
Yeah.
When that's not true. I'm not a rabbi. I hope to become one.
Right.
But I'm not one now. Torah, the word Torah comes from, it's the same root as hora'ah, which means instruction. Meaning the Torah and the mitzvah is what it is really doing. It's an instruction book of life, for life. You don't need to fight negativity. You just spread light, and automatically negativity will go away. It's like a dark room. If you turn on a light, all of a sudden, the darkness goes away.
I think what's really interesting about Judaism and what was like really fulfilling for me whenever I did study through like Every Man's Talmud, that excerpted version I told you about, and the little bit of halacha that I looked at, is I feel like it's one of the only religions that's willing to question itself as hard as it does.
The Talmud, that's like literally every page. This is considered just one daf is this and this, for example. One single page. So if you were to do one single page front and back, it would take you 7 years to finish the entire Talmud.
Yeah.
You vlog?
Yeah, I'm making a documentary on Judaism. And stuff.
Bro, get me in, bro.
Yeah?
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm not Jewish.
So you're making a doc?
Yeah. Here, get you in there.
I'm already in it?
Yeah, you're in it.
Hey, what's up, night? My name is Boaz. I'm one of the youth rabbis here at the Shabbat Harbor. I just also, look at this. This is my account.
Okay, cool.
I posted this video. Look at this video, bro. Got 1.8 mil.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
It's so cool. We should do a collab.
Yeah, I'm with it. If you want to do something for this, I mean, me and Yoni got a couple hours left, but I mean, if you're still gonna be here, we could definitely do it.
I'll do it first, Lauren, and then we'll do something.
Do you guys, in fact, hate Christians? Do you want them to? Do you hate Jesus?
No, nor do I believe any of that idea of burning an excrement or...
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask about too. I don't know if you guys have done any study on Talmud.
I remember studying it, and like it's way more nuanced, right? It doesn't even say that it's like, oh, it's Jesus, and it's also the opinion of only like one of the rabbis.
Okay.
I don't remember.
The idea within, the Christian world, let me preface by saying Christians who hold this ideology, there's like this deep state cabal, and like these super powerful Jews are all, together and know this exact part of Talmud.
Like, what version of Talmud are we learning? Are we learning the Steinsaltz edition? Are we learning only Mishnah and Gemara? I'm serious. They'll have the basics, right? Which is the Mishnah, and then there's there's the commentary after that from the Amoraim, which are the people that lived in the time. You'll have the Emoraic and you'll have the Tanaic sections, but then you'll have the Rashi, which is a commentary. You'll have the Tosfos, which is a commentary, and then as the years go by, there's hundreds of more commentaries that come out in different ways of viewing this one sentence, bro. From the age of 13 and up, I studied Gemara every single day, Talmud. From the age of 13 and up, I started learning Talmud extensively, every single day. I have never, in my years, have been ever taught anything like that. I guarantee you, as a person whoever's watching this and has never read the Talmud, as a person who has studied it, I guarantee you, if you read those things in the actual context, it says nothing like that, bro. It's either a mistranslation, something taken out of context, or something. It says the opposite, bro. It praises the Amaratsim, the people of the world, the other nations of the world. Like we can't be nitpicking, dude. Dude, whenever we're talking about Talmud, there's one book that's like a three-parter, right? Which is Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, and Bava Basra. And those three are all like the most, I'm going to get slack for this. It's the most like boring stuff, business stuff, right? Like, oh, you're walking your cow in the middle of a town, and then it hits a hole in the road and falls over and destroys the fence. Who pays for it? And then it's like 10 pages of rabbis being like, I think this guy should pay for it. But I think this guy should also pay a little bit. I don't think anyone should pay for it. And it's just like, bro, back and forth. And that's like a lot of the Talmud, bro. It's not us conspiring like, yes. So you see this religious figure here? Yes, he's evil. And all of our children will believe that he's evil because what's like the end goal of like teaching us that? I don't understand.
Got a kippah, and then what's this right here? Let me see. It says one love on it. It's a $2 bill.
Yeah. It's a good luck $2 bill from me to you. I personalized it for you. It's got
Really?
the date and my initial, and this means
Really?
thank God.
Okay.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem, yeah.
One love. Jew, non-Jew, man, woman, gay, straight. Who cares? One love.
Thank you so much.
So
Appreciate that.
and then we have
It's
to
amazing.
take a selfie.
Okay, 100%. Let's do it. Here. Let me see. This room is very cool.
Yeah, so
I've never seen this.
And here we have the Sephardi shul in the back. That's like the Chabad Ashkenazi shul. This is the Sephardi shul
Oh wow.
for all the Sephardi in the community.
Yeah, these look a lot like pews almost.
What's a pew?
Like a church pew.
Oh,
The way that these come down, it's kind of like a Catholic church pew almost.
Yeah, when they have like the footsteps.
Right. Yeah, because you got the footstep right there too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you edit, you take raw footage, right?
Yes, sir.
But then you edit and
Yeah.
you're making a documentary?
Yes, I am making a documentary. Yeah.
Hopefully, if you touch one person, but realistically you're touching 10,000 people,
Oh yeah.
and they're touching one person each, and they're touching, so, wow, you know what? I saw this guy, he's got tattoos, and he grew up like non-religious at all, no denomination, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's
Yeah.
like, wow, you know what? Maybe there could be world peace one day.
Yeah. To me, the study of God, that's the most interesting thing you could ever study ever. Like,
Because it's infinite. It's not. It's
There's
not
never
like,
a
it's
right.
not,
There's never an answer. Like never clear answers.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's always and then what? And then what? Like there's always a cliffhanger. Like and you're like, that's the whole point of infinity. It's eternal. It's immortal. It's not. It's something that we can't even wrap our human intellect around. Not even a minute. Like we can understand that we don't understand.
Yeah.
And we could keep trucking along day by day. It doesn't.
Right.
Like imagine God, creator, source, universe, came down himself.
Right.
In the form of a human and looked at you in the face and said, Malvi, this is the truth. This is why we created the world. This is why the world's in creation, and this is when it's going to end, or it's never going to end. What fun would it be? You'd be like, oh, I know the answers. You'd be like, well, there's nothing left. Like this is boring.
Would you like a vlog?
Yeah, just like a miniature thing.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
So you're just gonna ask questions on
You're
the
a
answer?
Yeah, just be casual.
All right.
You're Boaz.
What's good? How we doing?
What do you do here at the shul?
I'm a youth rabbi at the Shul of the Harbor.
Okay.
I do teen programs, like kids programs, learning with adults, all sorts of,
How do you feel about being Jewish, bro? Like in 2025, like how's that going?
incredible,
Yeah?
amazing. No, it's just so much better. It's so much more fun. It's so much more meaning. I think it's the more hate there is for someone or something, the better it is, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Meaning the way it works is the stronger the good, the stronger the opposition, the stronger the evil.
I see.
Right? When someone's doing so much good, they're gonna have the, think of anyone like online, any famous person. The more successful and big they are, the more hate they have.
Yeah.
So I guess
true.
the Jewish people, God decided that, that we whatever. So people have hate. People have anti-Semitism. One time, someone actually parked his car. I was like walking down with my tefillin, right, the straps, and I was like, making a lot of, just making some vibes. It was actually in France, and someone parked his car, got up, and like spit.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, have a great day. Cheers. Like, I kept going. Like they're just gonna do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
It actually says in the Torah, in the Bible, like that. It's like a thing that there's going to be anti-Semitism. That people are going to hate. It's just how it is till the time of Mashiach. I don't know if you heard of Mashiach.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Final redemption, where it's going to be peace and love and happiness in the world. But till that time, It's always going to be like that. Our job as Jewish people is to what? Is to serve God and to make God a dwelling place in this earth.
Right.
By doing acts of goodness and kindness, helping others, doing mitzvot, right? Learning Bible, giving charity, whatever it is. And non-Jews have also a set of laws that they need to do. But that's our job. Our job is to make the world a better place.
This is the Rebbe that I kept talking about, and my parents together with him. Those are my great-grandparents. That's your side of the family, this photo, or that's mommy's side?
That is my father's father.
This is the Tehillim, which one of my friends told me that if you knew the power of this book, you would never stop saying it. And the Tehillim is a collection of writings of King David, arguably one of the greatest Jews that ever lived. King David was, I guess the right word is even like infatuated with God, obsessed with God. He had such a love for him and he was a poet on top of it, a real king, a king that went into battle. King David was so special because he really was one of the people. He was just like another one of the Jews. He happened to be a king. And he had such a love for God, and he was so good with words that he wrote down these special blessings. Some of the most powerful literature within Judaism comes from this, right? Like, I'm sure you've heard that Metallica song, "Although I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil." That comes from this. Bam, you got a little trifecta. So what's the deal with these little black boxes that no one knows what they are? In English, they're called phylacteries. They literally just look like little GoPros, dude. The reason we put it on our arm is when we put it on our arm, when you put it on your arm, you face it towards your heart. And that's to show that when these are on, all of my emotions are with God. And when I pray, I'll be locked in with him emotionally. And then you have the head tefillin. When this goes on, you're basically locking in your intellectual side with God. And you're saying that my mind is with him, and it's going to stay with him throughout my prayers. So all these are is really a median to just help us get in the zone to connect with God, to really tap in with him. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. That is the basis of our religion. That is the core to everything, the oneness of Hashem, and that we're all connected. Everyone is connected. Even the plants is connected. The Baal Shem Tov, the creator of the Hasidic ideology, said that there isn't a worm in the sea that doesn't move without meeting. There isn't a leaf that falls from the tree that isn't without purpose. So God is interconnected everywhere, right? And we believe that this infinite consciousness, this infinite life force is obviously meant to be praised, but it's very important. This is what we said at Sinai, and it's very important that when you put on tefillin, this is what you should recognize at the very least.
It's good to hear from once again, a regular Jewish person, because I think people tend to look at like these really powerful people and they don't separate the power from the religion, or the power, like the person is powerful with or without that religion, right? And so it's more a power problem, I would say, than it is really a people, like a religion or a social, like ethno thing. There's an idea that Jewish people want people to hate them because it will hasten the coming of the Messiah. Do you think that has any truth to it at all?
I've never heard that before. That's interesting. If that was like a fundamental part of Judaism, everybody would know about it. But I've never heard that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, any book that you open, I've never heard that. You could go, for example, you see the Rambam, Maimonides, he has the 13 principles of faith. Those are like, for example, very core ideas of Judaism. One of them is believing that Mashiach is going to come. There'll be a resurrection of the dead and stuff like that. But that idea I've never heard.
Okay.
The Torah is not only learned on one level, it has multiple dimensions. Like, for example, part of the stands for Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Sod. Pshat means like the simple understanding. Remez literally means hints. Drush means expounding from the verses. And then Sod means like the mysteries, which is more the inner Torah, the soul of the Torah. For example, Kabbalah and Hasidus, Likutei Sichos, which is where this set comes from, like this 39 volume set, which was just like talks on the parsha. Within one like talk, you could go from multiple dimensions. You know, sometimes you have a question, and it's hard to find an answer based on just a simple understanding, because we say that everything is exact. In the Torah, there's no extra letter, there's no extra word. So if there is something that seems to be superfluous, it means that there's something it's trying to teach us. You know, there are answers given in all different realms.
Being 0.2% of the population, what do you say to the argument of them being overrepresented, you know, in like the billionaire population, for example? I think it's something like, you know, 14%.
There's definitely an overrepresentation of Jewish people in wealth and in academics and in a couple or a bunch of other areas. For thousands of years now, Jewish people have had the highest literacy of almost any group in the world. Jewish people are taught to be able to read and write an additional language to the language that they already know, and that's been going on for a very long time. By the time they're 12 as a girl or 13-year-old as a boy, one of the big stats that I recently came across is that the Jews will financially help each other pretty drastically and will get into business with each other. Jews will be very quickly to, if they make money, to spend it on a Jewish store, or the money passes through many different Jewish people's hands before it might leave the community as a whole. There's many different reasons for it. I wouldn't posit that the reason is some form of ultra nefarious phenomenon going on.
Mind control, goy slop.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like that going on. And every time I talk about something like this with friends or something like this, it's like, okay, so why can't I get involved? You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case, what about me and 99% of the people I know that are Jewish? Where's our guilt? Where's our money? I mean, I don't think that for the most part, many Jews are experiencing this ultra power and wealth the way that it seems to be described. That they're grouping in Mark Zuckerberg with me. I feel honored, but that it's just not. It's not legit. There's nothing legit there.
Rusty's trying to dig into the couch.
Yeah, that's his thing. Every Friday night before Shabbat starts, 18 minutes before, my mother lights Shabbat candles. And the tradition is you have one for each of your kids, and then extra ones for blessings, I believe. This right here, if these are lit, that means no phone, no TV, no nothing. Shabbat started, and it's time to get into the vibe of Shabbat.
And why is there the no phones rule and stuff like that? Is it just to re-engage yourself with?
So it's a multifaceted question, right? So it's like the no phones thing. It comes from when phones were invented. There was a discussion like, does this count as violating the Sabbath? Which they ruled that because the original law in the Torah is to not ignite a flame, they said that because electricity can't ignite a flame, it counts as violating the Sabbath. So anything with electricity, we don't use.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you again for allowing me to come into your home. I appreciate it.
No, you're more than welcome. When the internet came to be, I would Google and there would be groups. Started in the Facebook thing, but then I realized, like, oh my God, they have the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but they were all like, there was no one Jewish there, and they were like, what are you doing here? You're seeing it from the wrong perspective. We had a very big community in all those lands in that era when they were ruling.
The rabbi was talking about that today. He goes, the Jews always prospered the most when we were second class, meaning like when someone ruled.
I told you, the good persecution.
Yeah, no, but when someone ruled and they allowed us to just like live our lives. Have you looking for like the Andalusian Empire?
Oh, that's from Spain,
Right.
So that's when the Muslims were in control.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Cordoba.
We had like a golden era.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbos Kodesh.
Explain to me the difference between Shabbat and Shabbos.
Oh, remember how I was explaining to you how like Ashkenaz and Sephardic pronounce different things?
Sure.
It's just a different pronunciation. Sephardic are like Shabbat.
I
Because
see.
like the tough.
The last letter of the Hebrew alphabet
Yeah.
is a tough, and it can have a sound if you're Ashkenaz. If your people come from Eastern European.
My father is he makes documentaries. I make music for a living. You know what I mean? And there's also, by the way, an esoteric element to that as well, which are the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes of Israel each had a different role within the temple and how Judaism operated in the ancient, the kingdom of Israel during like King David and King Solomon, right? For example, I'm a Levite, right? A Levi. We created music and art within the temple. We were some of the custodians for the Kohanim, the grand priests, on Jewish holidays before they give us the Kohanim blessing. Levites gathered together with the Kohens. We wash their hands to purify them, right? So that's like an ancient practice that was brought into the modern times. There's a lot of things that we can't do today because we don't have our temple in Jerusalem, but that's why we have the modern day prayer books and stuff like that, so we could try to make up for that in our time of diaspora.
I guess that's another thing that you have to consider too. It's like even Jewish people, I think probably most Jewish people today don't know that much about Judaism, So it's like, how can you even begin to deconstruct what the entirety of the Jewish people are and what they do whenever a lot of them themselves don't even know who they are and what they do?
This is the mission of Chabad. This is our sect's mission. Other sects have the same mission. They call it kiruv. We call it mitzvoim. The idea that there's a Jew that doesn't know the letter Aleph, the Rebbe tells us, teach Aleph. We should spread out to the north, south, east, and west. Teach them about kosher. Teach a Jew how to be Jewish. The Rebbe's whole idea, bring Jews back to Judaism. And some are against it. But if we could teach them, we will teach them. Because we believe that every Jew has what's called the pintele yid, the spark of Judaism, right, inside of them. And it's their soul. And their soul yearns for it. That's why you have people on the sidewalk asking, are you Jewish? Do you want to wrap tefillin? Because that one act can lead to so much more. It's like a plant. We have to grow it. It's like a spark. We have to ignite it.
A lot of Jews are now not as scared to be who they are. There's no such thing as, I'm no longer a Jew. Well, many people, they're scared to wear a kippah outside, or they're scared to have their tzitzis showing, or to look like a religious Jew, because they're afraid, people will look at me like this, and then they won't want to do, they'll like do something to me, they'll harm me physically, they'll alienate me in the business world, let's say. So I'll just blend in, and that way I'm not a target. That doesn't work. Because a lot of times the people who are targeted are specifically those, unfortunately, I have a hard time saying that, but even those people even the Jews that don't necessarily want to do anything with Judaism, they're also attacked. And you could see really how a Jew is a Jew. In the beginning, I was more selfish with it in the sense of, okay, I see that this makes my life better. And that's not necessarily bad. Like, everybody wants to live a better life. Started learning like Hasidus, which is the more spiritual part of the Torah, the soul of the Torah. And that started really changing my perspective of how, God is one. What does that even mean? Realizing, why am I here? Going more into the intellectual part of it. And at the end of the day, it's what God wants. It's God's mission on this earth that needs to be fulfilled. And I will be most fulfilled doing that. There's 613 mitzvahs, 248 of which are positive mitzvahs, 365 are negative mitzvahs. There's an idea that each mitzvah corresponds to a certain part of your soul, part of your body. If a person is lacking a certain mitzvah, in deed or in speech, when learning, in a way that part stays unrefined, so to speak.
We definitely got to talk about how these echo chambers have accelerated hate in all forms. Every single person, if they hate something, they'll hate it way more by scrolling on their phone.
Yeah, I mean, I think overarching, it's a much larger conversation that a few of these quite brilliant individuals have spoken about at length. There's a guy named Daniel Schmachtenberger who studies existential catastrophic risk. And he tackles this exact subject pretty much. This type of content can engage a person, and then it will continue to engage the person, trying to tap into some of the very lowest levels of our functioning to reel a person in, not with any nefarious agenda, so to speak. The agenda really on these platforms is to just be getting you engaged and using it as much as possible. And it just so happens that these ways of playing to the lowest emotions and elements of a human being really grab a person's like complete and total attention. And then, you know, it becomes a whole journey where you keep the person in there, in that echo chamber, in many regards destroys many paths, avenues of higher level thinking, because it's just pushing you into the same circular type of world. You really start to believe a certain version of reality because you have supposedly all of the different facts that you need. And some of the top minds are trying to figure out how to, in some regard, fix this pretty problematic element of our society.
We also need to just think about how the population works. Most people aren't looking for nuance. We want the answer. Give me an answer, and that answer will become truth to them. People don't have time in their brains, especially with short form content, how it's engineered us. We don't have time to go down those rabbit holes. You have to be prepared that if you're going to touch on a touchy subject, don't just go to one source because he's saying the things you like. Why aren't we talking about the other great Jews, you know, in the world that are, you know, creating homeless shelters and giving all of their money away and you know, doing incredible acts of goodness and kindness to make the world a better place? Why do we only focus on that?
What is the actual significance of the tassels? I forgot what they're called.
Tzitzis.
Yeah.
Basically what it is it's a reminder. It says in the Shema in the third paragraph that you will see them and remember all the mitzvahs. How is that?
I see.
It's because you can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knots and 8 strings per each one. So, and then the numerical value of the word tzitzit or tzitzis is 600. Like if you add up the letters, 600. So 600 plus 8 plus 5, that's 613. A lot of Jewish stores also have mezuzahs on their door.
Yeah.
Like this one over here.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. And what it is really is the scroll inside. The scroll inside has also the Shema.
This is a cool concept too. It's a kosher Japanese and Chinese place.
Almost every restaurant here, luckily, thank God, is basically kosher. Reason being because within like the last 20, 30, 40 years, tons of Jews have been moving to this area. And specifically like religious Jews that, you know, can only eat kosher food. So because of that, like at a certain point, whoever was not kosher became kosher. It was just necessary for them to continue.
Yeah, for them to even survive, basically.
It's like, you know.
That's crazy.
But yeah, the mezuzah, I was saying, it's really the parchment inside of it. And what is in there is the Shema. It's 3 paragraphs from the Torah that speak about very fundamental prayer of Judaism. One of the verses in the Shema, it says, and you should write them on the doorposts of your house and of your gates. And the idea is that it's like a protection and it's a guard for people when they walk in and when they walk out. There are many, many miraculous stories about how a mezuzah has done that. It really protects, and it's a very serious thing. And that's why one of the goals that we have here is to give every Jewish home a kosher mezuzah on the front door.
You have to question. You're dealing with infinity, bro. When you're dealing with infinity, that means that there are infinite questions, right? Why is it that we have a holiday called Simchas Torah? The celebration of the Torah. What do we do? The 2 main things we do on Simchas Torah, aside from dancing with the Torah, because thank God, thank you Hashem for giving us such an incredible book. We also finish it. We finish it, and then we start it over. We deal with the death of Moses, but then we start with the beginning of creation. So what are some of the ideas that go along with that? What's the point of restarting the Torah? We've read it already. We know what's good. It's because within the Torah, there's Lashon Kodesh. There's the holy language. The holy language is something that's transcendent in and of its own, because then you're dealing with things like gematria, the numerical value. Within Torah, you could learn it an infinite amount of times, and you could find new things every time. That's why it's incredible. And then when you read like Rashi's explanations, or the Lubavitcher Rebbe's explanations, or any of these commentators' explanations, and then they walk you through why they say this, there's so many layers to it that it's like, what an incredible piece of writing that I could learn it so many times and still find new things within it. It even goes down to like why it's like indented here, why is like this letter this size, right? There's letters in the Torah that are like big, and the rabbis start tripping out about it. They're like, why is this aleph like this size? It's huge, man. And there's like books written on it, dude. It's like crazy. It's infinite knowledge. The Zohar, written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, is like the secrets of all of this stuff. The followers of Kabbalists claim that these people have an understanding of the universe that is different than everyone, and they're able to do things within the world that are different from other people.
For anybody who's watched this video and still doesn't want to accept any of it, they say, oh, they control everything. They're just like, all this stuff. What would you say to somebody who completely hates you right now? Like, that's watching this video who hates you.
I really don't sit down ever in my day and think about any other religion and have a deep hate for them and desire that they be destroyed, ever. I would suggest going online and just learning a little bit and using real sources, real sites that will give you the real thing. And one of them that's very reliable is Chabad.org. Right now, the biggest Jewish organization in the world. And just read and see what there is. See what there is over there. There's tons of videos, tons of articles. Every day they're being posted more and more and more. And like that, I think it could just be seen that all that's there is positivity. There's no negativity, and all we want is peace.
What is Jews' primary goal on earth? From y'all's perspective, from the friends that you've made that are Jewish, from your family, what would you, summarize to say that Jews' primary goal on earth would be?
When it comes to the idea of what the Jew should be doing, it's what the book says, which is to be a light unto the nations. What we want is to wake up every day and figure out, how can I be better than I was yesterday? And if you keep doing that every day, it'll lead to this infinite growth day to day that'll impact the entire world, right? And you're supposed to be going out, ufaratz, the yom v'akedem esafana b'negba. You should be going out to the north, south, east, and west, and spreading this. I think every religion wants the same thing, and that's going to really start by working together, by working, Jew, non-Jew, etc. The Jews really need to lock in as well on this point. And, we really need to remember what God says in the Bible, to be an or lagoyim, right? To be a light unto the nations, and what that really means. Two things: serve God with happiness and do as much goodness and kindness as possible in your lifetime. That's what I think it really comes down to.
I think, making a godly life, the synthesis of materiality and spirituality, of, bringing spirituality out of a lot of the different physical things that we do as physical creatures, making this world a living place for the divine and for spirituality. And we have, as human beings across the board, it isn't a specific Jewish power, so to speak. Every human being across the board has this unique ability and power to merge, to synthesize physicality and spirituality. When we eat something and we use it to then do exactly like what Matt was saying, to spread goodness and kindness, to have energy, to be a good friend, to be a good brother, to be a good father, to be a good human being in any different instance, that food now becomes holy. That materiality has now been transmutated into a synthesis of materiality and spirituality.
For a people that we're so familiar with, it's a shame that most people will never truly know how the Jews live their lives and what they believe. I don't ask that you go out to a synagogue yourself or sit over challah bread for a Shabbat dinner like I did, but what I do ask, as I always do, is that you try and approach an unfamiliar religion or group with curiosity first instead of judgment. Sit with information, seek out opposing sources, allow your mind to not just gather wild thoughts and leave them untamed, let them sit until they become stagnant and accessible. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed producing it. And I want to give a huge thank you to Matt, Danny, Yoni, Boaz, and everyone else who took the time to share their story of what it means to be Jewish in the 21st century. See you in the next one.